The Health Ministry is in its final stages of finalising the Standard Operating Procedures (SOPs) for the reopening of Malaysia's international borders. National Recovery Council MP and Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said an announcement on the opening of the border will be made in due course. He said the faster the border is open, the better it is for the country's economic recovery.
Memanglah wajar supaya dipercepatkan. Jangan lambat sehari, kos bagi negara adalah amat besar terpaksa ditanggung. Cepat buka, untung pada Malaysia adalah amat banyak. Jadi negara-negara lain, bagaimanapun kita tahu, dah diumum Australia sudah buka hari ini. Australia ke belakang daripada Malaysia dari proses vaksinasi. Mereka masih lagi belum selesai. Kita dah selesai. Antara negara top 10 in the world yang berjaya menguruskan soal itu. Tapi bila proses nak buka sempadan pulihan, kita agak lambat.
Met after sharing the MPN meeting in Putrajaya today, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said tourism, education and healthcare travel were among the sectors badly affected by the border closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He said although there was now a rise in COVID-19 positive cases and admissions to hospitals in Malaysia, the National COVID-19 Immunisation Program (PICK) and administration of the booster dose had proven effective in protecting the recipients from severe infections. At today's meeting, the MPN also supported, in principle, the Langkawi Development Authority's proposal to enhance Langkawi's international travel bubble program in terms of reduction of screening tests and implementation of the Langkawi-Singapore vaccinated travel lane. The COVID-19 vaccine booster has been seen to be an effective and capable defence in reducing transmissions of the COVID-19 in Malaysia, which has been mostly triggered by the Omicron variant. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah informed that non-vaccinated individuals at all age groups are most vulnerable to being infected by COVID-19 with severe effects, especially in categories 4 and 5, and also at higher risk of dying from COVID-19. This was based on data recorded over the past 4 weeks from 24th January to 21st February. On the other hand, fully vaccinated individuals who have also received the booster shot were the most protected. This was proven through the increase in categories 3, 4 and 5 per 100,000 population involving non-vaccinated individuals compared to fully vaccinated booster individuals. As of yesterday, 14,078,456 or 59.8% of the adult population in the country had received the booster dose under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Program Booster PICKB. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said there has been a sharp increase in the number of COVID-19 education clusters of late, with 92 reported in the latest epidemiology week. He said in the week before, 61 education clusters were recorded. So far, the Crisis Preparedness and Response Centre CPRC has recorded 367 education clusters from 1st January to 19 February, of which 346 are still active while 21 have ended. In a statement today, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham said states that recorded the highest number of education clusters were Kelantan with 54 clusters, followed by Selangor 49. Pahang 38, Kuala Lumpur 37 and Sabah 34. Investigations found that 328 clusters or 89.4% had students as index cases, while 31 cases involved teachers or lecturers. The majority of cases reported were in the mild or asymptomatic categories. He said 76.54% infections were Category 2 cases, 23.4% Category 1 and 0.2% from Categories 3 and 4, adding that all cases have received treatment and are in stable condition. All 257 schools involved are from various agencies, namely the Education Ministry, Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA, Mahat Tafiz and others. special flight for the Malaysia's humanitarian relief aid left for Kabul, Afghanistan from Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang today. About 5 tons of various necessities, such as winter clothing, were flown over to Kabul following the humanitarian crisis in the country. According to Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Abdullah, the Malaysian contribution was hoped to ease the burden faced by the Afghans during the current winter season.
Sumbangan tersebut akan diedarkan oleh GPM di Kabul kepada NGO tempatan Afghanistan, iaitu Asas Welfare and Social Services Organisation, Humanitarian Assistance Society, Afghan Welfare Society dan Just for Afghan Capacity and Knowledge. Saya ingin tegaskan bahawa ini adalah bantuan humanitarian, bantuan kemanusiaan dari rakyat Malaysia kepada rakyat Afghanistan. Kerajaan cuma memfasilitasi bantuan ini supaya ia sampai kepada mereka yang memerlukan.
Malaysian private sector companies and institutions stand ready to offer their expertise in depth knowledge to help rebuild and reconstruct Afghanistan. On a related note, Datuk Seri Saifuddin also commented that humanitarian mission was not a sign that Malaysia has recognised the Taliban government in Afghanistan. Instead, it was strictly to ensure the general welfare and safety of the people in the country. Malaysia has yet to decide on recognising the Taliban government and was taking a cautious approach.
Misi ini tiada kaitan dengan pengiktirafan kerajaan di Kabul. Kita belum mengiktiraf kerajaan di Kabul. Kita memantau perkembangannya dengan rapat. Ada parameter yang telah ditetapkan oleh PBB, oleh OIC, juga oleh kerajaan Malaysia sebelum kita boleh mengiktiraf kerajaan Afghanistan.
The Taliban, ousted in 2001 by the United States and its allies, retook Afghanistan in August 2021 after the withdrawal of US and North Atlantic Treaty Organization's NATO militaries following a 2020 agreement. Malaysia cannot act unilaterally in the search for the missing MH370 despite claims of new leads of the location of the aircraft based on the research documents by the Australian Transport Safety Bureau ATSB. Instead, Transport Minister Datuk Seri Wee Ka Siong said the country would need to discuss with the Chinese and Australian governments, as in the agreement and understanding made by the 3 countries in the search for the aircraft.
Kita sedia bekerjasama dengan mana-mana pihak. Kita perlu verify dan daripada badan yang kompeten ni. Credible evidence must be found seperti mana yang kita gunakan. Sekiranya terdapat credible evidence, bukti yang kukuh, maka kita tidak ada keberatan untuk nak teruskan. Ini adalah persefahaman antara 3 buah negara. Tidak boleh ditentukan secara unilateral oleh Malaysia. There's tripartite arrangement. The 3 countries, they work together so hard. Any mission we have to discuss among the 3 countries.
He was met after opening the Malaysia Maritime Week MMW 2022 at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre today. ATSB had earlier released a statement stating that it had requested a third party to review the data it obtained from the search to revalidate that no items of interest were detected in prior searches in light of British Aeronautical Engineering Richard Godfrey's MH370 flight path paper and workings. According to ATSB, the findings of the review are expected to be released in the next few weeks, while stating that any decision to conduct further searches for MH370 would be a matter for the Malaysian government. Coming up next, government calls upon employers to offer salaries higher than minimum wage. Paperwork for the Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) regarding intake and placement of Indonesian housemaids in the country will be tabled to the Cabinet in the nearest future. The MOU will, among others, touch on issues revolving around intake and protection of Indonesian domestic workers. Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan said the talks between both Malaysia and Indonesia yesterday has addressed the relevant issues and solutions have been devised in an orderly manner.
Respon memang bagus, cuma kita ada beberapa isu yang perlu diatasi. Yang pertama adalah gaji minima, yang kedua dari segi skop kerja, dan yang ketiga menggunakan sistem yang sah. Ketiga-tiga ini kita telah bersetuju dan saya akan bawa ke Kabinet esok. Kalau Kabinet dah setuju, dan akan dipanjangkan ke Jakarta untuk menentukan tarikh menandatangani.
Previously, Indonesian Ambassador to Malaysia, Hermono, said Indonesia is committed that the MOU must be fully completed before it is signed. Meanwhile, the government has called upon more employers to offer salaries that exceed the current minimum wage in the country. Datuk Seri Saravanan said, even though the review on the current minimum wage has not been determined and enforced by the government, there are already employers that have begun paying a minimum wage of RM1,500. In a statement, he said the revision of the minimum wage in the country is still being done in accordance with the National Wages Consultative Council Act 2011, Act 732. Datuk Seri M. Saravanan added that the minimum wage in Malaysia is currently RM1,200 in all city and municipal council areas and RM1,100 in other areas effective since 2020. He also said that the approach taken by the Aeon Co Malaysia Berhad and Westport Holdings in offering a minimum salary of RM1,500 to their employees should indeed be emulated. Prior to this, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the government is in the midst of engaging employers concerning the proposed minimum wage of RM1,500 to ensure that it could be implemented in a holistic manner. The Inland Revenue Board (LHDN) has entered into a collaboration with the Chief Government Security Office (CGSO) to enhance the level of security protection at the board. Under the Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) signed today, an internal inspectorate by the LHDN and a specially appointed inspectorate by the CGSO will implement efforts to increase the level of protection safety at the LHDN. LHDN Deputy Chief Executive Officer Management Wan Ramizawan Ghazali said, as the country's taxation administrator, the board must ensure that all information on taxation, assets and its premises are constantly protected and are not exposed to risk and uncontrolled security breaches.
MOU ni something yang kita expect lah dan kita target untuk especially bila kita bercakap tentang lembaga hasil ni, memang kita melibatkan dokumen pembayar cukai, dokumen-dokumen rahsia jabatan dan sebagainya lah. So keperluan kepada engagement dengan CGSO ni memang ada.
Wan Ramiza, who signed the MOU on behalf of the LHDN, said the board had set targets to achieve recognition of excellent safety levels or a 5-star rating by CGSO at all of its premises in terms of protection safety. The MOU would also benefit the LHDN as CGSO will share its expertise and knowledge related to protection security through the organizing of training and courses. Tekun Nasional is targeting 25,000 of its entrepreneurs to register and contribute to the SOCSO under the Self-Employment Social Security Schemes SKSPS through the Tekun Entrepreneur SOCSO Contribution Campaign. Entrepreneur and Cooperative Development Minister Tan Sri Noh Omar said the campaign aimed to raise awareness among entrepreneurs on the importance of the social security protection, besides encouraging them to contribute to SOCSO. To date, 16,830 Tekun entrepreneurs have subscribed to SKSPS.
Saya tengok bahawa kebaikannya seolah-olah mereka ni macam dapat pension lah. Kalau ini THP ni dapat pension semua hidup lah. Skim ini mesti diambil oleh pekerja-pekerja sendiri. Ini skim dibuka kepada mereka yang bekerja sendiri, dan kita di Medak melalui Tekun kita nak tolong usahawan-usahawan yang bekerja sendiri tanpa kita tak nak menyusahkan mereka. Jadi inilah harapan kita masa depan mereka dari segi jaringan keselamatan dan juga simpanan mereka.
Under SKSPS, entrepreneurs and traders will be protected against employment injuries, including occupational disease and accidents during work-related activities. The minister was met after launching the campaign in Johor Bahru. The Tekun Entrepreneur SOCSO Contribution Campaign is a collaboration between the Human Resource Ministry and the Ministry of Entrepreneur and Cooperative Development, Medak. Internet addiction and lack of effective parental control have caused increased cybersecurity risk among the younger generation. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said this was among the main findings of the Cybersecurity Awareness Benchmark Study 2021-2022 conducted by Cybersecurity Malaysia CSM.
Saya difahamkan kadar ketagihan internet di Malaysia ini cukup tinggi berbanding dengan kebanyakan negara-negara yang lain. Sekali lagi, ketagihan itu mungkin bersifat positif. Bimbang juga kalau ketagihan itu adalah ketagihan yang dikaitkan dengan unsur-unsur negatif.
The identified signs of internet addiction include sleeping late, preferring to interact with smartphones than playing with friends, as well as getting angry when not being allowed to use smartphones. As such, he urged all parties to increase awareness among the younger generation to ensure a more secure, knowledgeable line of defense against cyber threats. An unemployed man was charged in the Gua Musang Magistrates Court today with the murder of his stepmother, who was found beheaded last week. Abdul Aziz Abdullah, 33, who holds a card for persons with disabilities OKU with mental problem, nodded after the charge was read out to him before Judge Tengku Shahrizam Tuanlah. No plea was recorded as the case came under the jurisdiction of the High Court. Abdul Aziz was charged with murdering Rahana Abdul Razak, 55, in a room of a house in Kampung Batu Macang, Jerit between 3:30 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. last 16 February. The charge framed under Section 302 of the Penal Code provides the death sentence upon conviction. Deputy Public Prosecutor Asmah Cik Wan prosecuted, while the accused was unrepresented. The court set 21st April for mention pending the chemist and post-mortem reports. Coming up in sports, inquest requested into Malaysia's humbling exit at AFF U23 Championship. Stay with us. Youth and Sports Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal Azumur has called for a post-mortem into Malaysia's embarrassing losses to Laos in the AFF Under-23 Championships in Cambodia. He said the responsible parties like the Football Association of Malaysia FAM should get to the root of the problems, as Laos used to be the whipping boys for the football of Southeast Asia. Elaborating further on the matter, the minister said all quarters involved in football need to seek ways and work hard to restore football glory in the country. He also urged all parties, including players and fans, to view the matter holistically in a bid to revive Malaysian football. Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal added that it would be meaningless to simply change coaches, the management or FAM president if the whole ecosystem of the sports is not rectified. The Malaysian squad under Brad Maloney were eliminated from the championship after losing twice to Laos in Group B 2-1 on Friday and 2-0 last night. The tournament format was changed after two other teams in the group, defending champions Indonesia and Myanmar, withdrew at the last minute due to the COVID-19 pandemic, forcing Malaysia to play Laos twice, with only one team qualifying for the semi-finals. Based on the latest senior team world rankings updated by FIFA on 10th February, Malaysia are ranked 154th in the world, while Laos are 33 rungs lower at 187th. On another note, Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal hoped that Malaysia would keep up the momentum of their good performances at the recent Badminton Asia Team Championships BATC. He said that mental strength is crucial in badminton, so to ensure that the country's players are always at their best mentally, matters concerning issues outside of the sport should not be sensationalized. He also said that all quarters, including the Badminton Association of Malaysia and supporters, should cooperate as the country has a good team capable of challenging the best in the world in future tournaments. At BATC, the national men's team beat defending champions Indonesia 3-0 in the final to lift the trophy for the first time, while the women's squad lost 0-3 to South Korea in the semi-finals. The achievements earned the Malaysian teams tickets to the Thomas Cup and Uber Cup finals in Bangkok, Thailand in May. From us this evening, in our top story, MOH in final stage of drawing up SOP for reopening of borders. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Thank you for watching.